December 11th, 2024, and let's get started with our meeting, guys. First is that our reminder for Christmas party, it's happening on Saturday, December 21st, 6:30 here. We'll have fun. We'll appreciate you guys coming in and having a good time here. Okay. So this morning, I'm not too sure if you guys pay attention, but this morning our loan officers certainly do. For our realtors, we should keep an eye on the inflation data. So inflation went up a little bit. It was at 2.6 in October. It went to 2.7. So we know that the Fed wants that as low as possible. Feds want that inflation to stay close to 2%. But right now, if we round that up, it's close to 3%. That means there's a less chances of Fed doing a greater rate cuts. So if they do a rate cut on the next meeting on the 18th, we're projecting it that it's going to be around 25 basis points, right? Why is that? Because if they, cut too much rates, the inflation is going to go even higher, which they don't want. So in order for the inflation to stay down, they need to make sure that they do not do a lot of rate cuts. We don't know how it's going to be affecting, but you can look at the headlines here. The inflation, US inflation rises, but Fed still expects to do a rate cut. We just don't know how much, right? We will figure that out on the next meeting. Next, we have our mortgage rates. According to Freddie Mac, the interest rates are hovering around 6.69, but Mortgage News Daily is hovering around 6.78. Okay, again, we're going to show you guys that, hey, week after week, the interest rates are hovering around the same range that we're looking at, between 6.7 to maybe 7 itself, right? Maybe if your client is going with a FHA loan, they can get interest rates of 6.19, but remember, these are always top tier scenarios, okay? This is a real example. This is from one of our files that we're about to close right now. Client is purchasing a property for $725,000. They qualified for $773,000 based on $126,000 annual income, based on their down payment of $145,000. Their monthly debt between husband and wife was around $500. The interest rate that they locked in was 6.99. The property that they found had a property tax of 4,500. Okay, they qualified for 773. They purchased the house for 725. So this way it gives you an overview what the affordability looks like. Okay. Next, on LJMortgageTeam.com, we have launched a new calculator for yourself, for your clients. So if you want to just look at your mortgage payment, hey, I'm showing them a house for $500,000, $800,000. Our one home will show that for our clients, right? They have that feature built in on your website now. But on LJMortgageTeam.com, you can simply go in and go to Mortgage Calculator and just type in, let's say the home value is 800,000. You can put down the down payment. Either you can put the percentage or you can put the amount there. You can choose 30 years and just roughly put in an interest rates of 7%. Okay, that's what we're hovering these days. You have your annual taxes and home insurance, right? On the right, you will see your monthly payment. This calculator is not asking for any income. That would be your affordability calculator. This one is simply telling you, hey, you're purchasing a house for $800,000 with 15% down payment. Your monthly payment is going to be around $5,500. Okay? Our loan officers use this on regular basis, but our realtors should be using it just to increase their knowledge that, hey, if I'm buying a house for $500,000 or $1 million, what will my monthly payment look like? Okay. These are some stats from MBS Highway, guys. So let's look at your national buyers activity. How many people are active? Around only 10%. And how many people are steady? They might be ready to go? Around 30%. So who's on the slower end? We think that activity is on the slower end, 60%. And why is that? We all feel the heat as being a realtor. How many times we're trying to show a property and the client is saying, "Hey, I'll see it, but I'm just not 100% ready right now." Right? I love the house, but I don't love my mortgage payment, right? Or maybe I'm in the mid-year right now. I have kids in school. Maybe I want to wait until spring or summertime to move out, right? We have all these scenarios that's pinning us down to there's less activity and there's 60% slower nationwide. And how about the home prices? Where are the home prices headed? We are only seeing home prices increase around 10%, steady around 50%, and price reduction around 30 to 40% nationwide, right? We have seen it with our agency as well. Hey, let's put a property for $1 million. Someone was asking for 1.1, and where we really think that the property is worth no more than $1 million, right? Instead of doing price reductions, let's do the research for the seller. Hey, let's be realistic. Let's put it on the lower end and let's get more people into the door and let's have more, offers come in instead of putting in the higher end and having a bidding war. Okay. All right, guys. Next, if you were to purchase a house in South Ozone Park in today's market at $700,000, right, and you're getting a loan at, let's say, 6.5, 6.8% interest rates, right? South Ozone Park, look at the graph here. Your 700,000 property investment that you're doing today is going to turn into 826,000 in 5 years. And what is going to happen to the loan amount? You're starting the loan at 630,000. In 5 years, it's going to be at 588. So what are you doing in that meantime? You're building equity. If you can sell it above 800 and your loan is going to be below 550, you're going to have nice amount of equity built just within 5 years instead of renting and just simply waiting for a couple of years. Okay, every year it makes a difference, but I saw the biggest factor after 5 years. So if your client is talking to you, we need to start asking them the right questions. Hey, I'm a realtor. I need to know that you're going to purchase your a property now or later. Are you actually ready right now or not? Right? And if you're renting, how long do you plan to stay in this area? If you're going to be staying in this area for longer than 5 years, it just simply makes sense to go ahead and purchase a property and build equity. If you're not too sure, maybe this is not the time, right? If you're not too sure about your job, or if just in general, maybe you have your family and friends in different states and you don't plan to live here for longer and you don't want the hassle, that's perfectly fine. If you have a steady job, your family's growing here, and you plan to live in Queens in general for next 5 to 10 years, the best thing you can do is purchase a house for yourself. Okay, so you can see just in 5 years, which includes all of that, all the expenses and everything, still taking over $236,000 just within 5 years. Okay. Next is that even some of our experienced agents have asked me for our sellers concessions, right? Seller's concessions is going to be a cost to the seller. We're asking for the seller to give us something back, right? It could be 1%, it could be 2% to help out the buyer because that person does not have enough funds for the closing cost, right? And that could be for repairs, for closing costs, anything that your buyer needs help with. We're putting it in the offer. And if you guys saw the new offer sheet that we have, it's very simple, very straightforward. It tells you what is the price that you want to put in the offer for. Let's say it's 500,000. The second line, it tells you your seller's concessions, right? Either you put zero if your buyer is not asking for anything back, or you go ahead and put an amount there. Hey, we need $10,000 back, or put a percentage there. Okay, or you could put both. But just know the fact that, hey, if we're putting in an offer asking for seller's concession, that's going to be in your second line. But if you're asking for your commission to be paid from the seller side, you're not asking for seller's concession. Rather, there's another field simply asking that, hey, if you're asking for a commission, what is the percentage? And you don't even have to ask the listing agent, right? You do not. You can put in an offer requesting that commission and then negotiate. Hey, here's my offer. This is what I'm asking. Accept it or let's negotiate. Okay? So just make sure that seller's concession and when we're asking for our commission, there are two different fields right on our offer sheet. Okay. Next is wrapping up the year with real estate practice changes that you want to do. We all want to improve. The biggest change that I see here is the written agreements. Just yesterday, one of our agents said, hey, he's putting in an offer, never confirmed with the listing side that if they're paying any commission or not. Clearly told me that, hey, my buyer is not going to pay. So when I was reading this article, I think it clicks in right there where this experienced agent, she said that they bought with me 4 times. So the buyers bought 4 houses with this particular real estate agent and never signed anything. And this is the course of 10 years or so. And now this is their fifth purchase with me. And you can imagine how uncertain and overwhelmed I felt about having them to ask them to sign this agreement, right? Some of the agents say, I just simply don't feel comfortable talking about the commission at this stage, right? And maybe they don't want to work with me after I ask them about the commission. But wouldn't we rather have all those questions answered in the initial stages rather than, let's put in an offer and let's see what happens? The new law clearly says that, hey, we need to have them sign an agreement before I start touring, right? Before I start showing them the properties. So if you don't feel comfortable in the initial stages, you're definitely not going to feel comfortable when you're putting in an offer. It's better to have that conversation. If they agree to it, then you go ahead and start moving forward. And when the offer time comes, then you can clearly say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put in an offer asking them to pay my commission, the listing side. If they don't, Mr. Buyer or Miss Buyer, you still have to pay me my commission, right? We have to start getting comfortable asking for our commission. And just know that there are other agents out there. So do not ask for any outrageous number where your client is actually not comfortable, right? Just be competitive. There's no set number. Everything's negotiable. Just start feeling comfortable bringing value to your client. So these are some do's and don'ts when you're working with the buyer. One is that you clearly want to tell them and demonstrate your value. You're a licensed real estate agent. You have tools like Matrix and One Home now where you can really help them out, answer all the questions for that particular property, right? Maybe they can see the property on Zillow, but they will not see all the details as you're sending them, right? And I love the new feature where your client is getting automatic text messages, not just the emails. We know not everybody checks the email, but they're getting text messages automatically. It's saving you thousands of hours. In KV Core, we were doing it one by one, sending them, hey, this property is good. Now we're simply, the system is doing that for you. So setting up the alerts, adding your client, setting up the alerts in your matrix is one of the biggest factor. That is bringing value to your client. As soon as the property hits the market, they're getting a text message. What better could it be? Okay. And you want to explain what is in the written agreement, right? We simply telling you, hey, what I'm going to do for you as a real estate agent, but I also need to charge you, right, for this transaction. I'm going to try my best to get paid from the seller side. But if they don't, if they pay me half, if they pay me any portion of it, that gets subtracted from this total amount that you're going to pay me. If we agreed on 2%, if I get paid 1% from the listing side, then you only owe me 1%. Okay, if they don't give me anything, then you still owe me 2%. Okay, have that clear conversation with them. And you want to make sure that they understand all the options that are available. That, hey, you always going to have their best interests first, right? And you're not going to, show them any properties like this one here, steer away the properties, right? Or tell them, hey, let's not see this property because based on the commission. Maybe one agent you call them and say, hey, we're not offering any commission, and the other agent is. You do not want to do that because you are getting paid based on what you agree on. If the other side pays, that's good for this buyer. If not, they still owe you. So there's no reason to steer any clients for any reasons. Okay. So you want to be transparent with them. Tell them, understand, you need to understand the whole concept so this way you can explain it to your clients. And as we mentioned, you need to tell them, I cannot accept anything more than this. If you're paying me 2% and the buyers, oh, sorry, the sellers are paying me 1%, I cannot charge 3. You have to mention that, hey, I cannot charge or, anyone extra from this amount. Okay, having a clear communication with the buyer. So I really want you guys to start focusing on your first time home buyers. This is where you're truly bringing a lot of value to them. If it's an experienced investor, maybe they know more than you because they have done the transactions themselves and they know how to flip a property, they know how to make it a good investment. But first time home buyers, your Zen Z here, they're the one who's turning home ownership and they're the one that's going to have a bigger share down the line. Some of them are super young, but some of them are in their 20s right now. Anybody that's going to be more than 24, they're going to be start thinking about, purchasing a house down the line. You simply want to connect with them. You simply want to start educating them about the following, right? So if it's a first time home buyer, you need to have a game plan, right? You need to, as a real estate agent, I need to tell them that, hey, first, let's talk about the interest rates. The interest rates are the biggest factor right now, right? Interest rates, we all know that they're hovering around 7%, but let's look at the long-term average over the past 25 years. Some of them we had 5%, some of them 6%, some of them 8%. Overall, it's 7.5 going back 25 years. So you can know that, hey, it's never, the interest rate should be the biggest factor for you. Because if you're going to simply wait, you're going to miss out on building your equity, as we mentioned earlier. Just waiting a few years can make a big difference. And you'll have a chance to refinance whenever the interest rates dip. What happened? All these people during COVID time, they feel like, they felt like they hit a lotto, all the homeowners that, hey, my interest was at 6%, 7%, 5%, all of a sudden it's in high twos or low threes. That time we don't know if it will come again, but whenever the interest rate come down to 4 or 5% and you're purchasing in today's market at 7%, of course you're going to benefit a lot when that time comes by doing a refinance. So these are the conversation we need to have with our clients. And credit scores. Yes, FHA allows you to put down 580, but Mr. Buyer, you do not want to have 580. You want to have maybe 780, right? You want to improve your credit scores much as possible. Your credit scores matter by the time you're doing a rate lock. So us finding us through property right now, maybe spending, another a month or so finding the property, you're putting in your application and everything. All those time, you should be improving your credit scores much as possible. Okay, if your credit scores are above 750, that is what we consider your top tier. Hey, you have 750, 760 or better, you're going to have better long term and your interest rate is going to be better there. Okay, and you want to talk to a loan officer. You should talk to a loan officer that's going to do a no credit check for you or do a soft pull so this way they can tell you how much you can qualify for. So we have plenty of loan officers at LJ Mortgage that can help all your clients out with FHA, conventional, non-QM, commercial loans, all the loans types that are available with us, right? That can really help your clients. So this could be your first-time home buyers, this could be your investors, this could be your W-2 employees or self-employed or even business owners, right? If you're working with any of them, the first approach, what is the best first approach? Is that, hey, if you're banking with Chase, TD, Citi, whatever bank you have, go to them first. Then go to LJ and see, if we can help you out, and then go to another bank. So this way you have three different sources as a first-time home buyer, and you know that, hey, which loan options you're gonna go with. There are some loan officers who only know FHA and conventional, and they have no idea about their non-QM loans, or they don't know the guidelines for that, right? Some of the lenders will simply will not even offer the other options. So they need to go to at least 2 or 3 different loan officer to make sure that they understand all the options that are available for them. Okay. All right, guys. Next, guys, we're going to hover over and answer the following questions. These are the two questions that I received from our listing agents, and I want to go through them in Matrix. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So first, we took out our passwords for LJ Agent Portal for now, right? Because this is a new change. I don't want anybody to hesitate to go to the website. Hey, I forgot the PIN or whatnot, because this page does not have any logins information. Rather, it just has the bookmarks. Hey, these are the links that are really important to you as a real estate agent. So the first one is your one key dashboard. If I click on it, I would need to log in. Okay. Once I'm logged in, I can simply go back to tools and click on matrix. And now I'm logged into matrix here. Okay. So when we want to change the status or we want to host an open house, you want to go to add or edit, and you want to go to listing management or manager. I'm the broker, that's why I see everybody. You will see only your listings there. So whatever listing you have here, so we have it for Mr. Ali here, and you're going to click on the three dots. So what could you do? You can change this status. So when you're going under contract, you can change it to pending, or you can change it to any of these other statuses here. If you want to do a price change, you can do that here as well. And if you want to host open houses, you click on open houses here. Okay. And then you go ahead and fill this form out. Okay. When it does it start? When does it finish? Does it have any refreshments, any remarks? So same thing you can do for public, for the broker, and you can host them right from the system here. Okay. So how do we go? Add or edit under listing manager. Okay. Next, guys, does anyone have any feedback for Matrix so far? Anything positive, anything negative? Does your experience look like? Anyone? Yes, we're gonna do that now. But any other feedback, guys, before we do the CMA? You guys like it? You guys hate it? Anything? Perfect, perfect. Yeah, yeah. The new thing always is always something hard to learn, but once we learn the functions, it does make our job much easier because as a real estate agent, we're going to be dealing with so many different clients, investors, and all that. But I think overall, it does make a positive impact for you as a realtor, but we just need to start using it. The first is our dashboard here, right? The dashboard should be edited and to your liking. So if you click on edit dashboard, I got rid of e property watch. I got rid of our matrix learning tab, right? Lab here. So you can modify this in your own way. That's one. You need to start spending maybe 5, 10 minutes just getting, setting this section up. So this way, every time you're under your dashboard, you can see what's going on in here, right? So for me, first is that I'm looking at the activity for anybody that I have added. I have my favorite searches. This piece here, guys, I'm using this multiple times in a day. So let's do this together. I just hit refresh and I see that I want to see what's the commercial properties that were sold in Nassau. So you know that the commercial activity is really slow and we don't have a lot of properties being sold for commercial side. This is just one now. So if I click on it, I can see this is the latest property that was sold. What I'm interested is what was it listed for and what was it sold for, right? Just to have my own knowledge increase that, hey, this property has 4,800 square feet and it was listed in New Hyde Park. It looks nice, right? It's a nice building. It's nice. And it was listed for 2.3 and it was sold for 2.075, right? Fair price. So this way I'm done for the day for this section here. If I want to review for investors or new property that came on the market, it says zero. That means there's no new commercial properties available as of today, right? If I really want to take the time and see all the activity that happened in Nassau, right? Any price changes, any sold, pending, new, there's 186. I'm not going to go through 186 properties, but I can probably just see top five, top 10. So you guys can create your own searches and favorite them just like you're doing it for your client, and you can do the research for yourself. Okay. Next is your external links, right? These links are really useful because all these links will automatically log you in into these systems, right? They are connected with one key matrix. So if I want to go to my transaction desk, I can simply click here. Showing time, Sentry Log, Rent Spree, any of these websites, all of them are useful. You need to start taking some time and start using them and see which one you like and which one you don't like. Okay. So next, guys, as we mentioned, your my matrix here. If I just hover over, I can see dashboard, my contacts, my listings, my saved searches, my auto emails. These every time we're mentioning auto email, it is simply saying alerts, what we are used to. These are your alerts that you have set up for your client. One of the agents said, "Hey, I want to simply text them one listing, just one listing, right? I want to text them, but I don't see that option. So I want to show you guys that first. So let's say I go to activity here in Queens, that I say, hey, this property here, right? This is the first one in Woodhaven. I want to take a look at that. If I click on it, right? It was pending, now it's sold. So I can send them this. Let's see. This was active and now it's pending. So this status that I have seen, this is all the activity that's going on. So this is a new listing for $1.4 million. This is in Elmhurst, and I want to send only this property to my client, but I want to send it as a text message. So on the bottom here, we see actions, we see criteria, email, print, and others. We want to click on email. Even though it says email, you will see an option for SMS when you click on the section email here. So I'm going to click on email, and now it says, who do you want to send it to? Probably want to send it to Kobe. You need to select his name. And then where it says also send link via SMS text message, you need to check that off. You do not need to put this anything in here. Even if you leave subject and body blank, they will still see a very professional email right from the system here. Since Kobe never opt in, I need to send them a send opt in. All your clients should be opt in for text messages, right? Anytime if your client is not, you will see that message here and you simply click on opt in option here and you will see a pop up saying that the opt in option notification has been sent to them. Okay. I simply clicked on his name, selected SMS option here and hit send. Okay. That's it. That's how you're sending individual property. Anytime you're browsing through the system, hey, I think this is a good for Bob, this is good for Smith, this is good for this person. You can simply send it using this feature here. Okay. All right, guys. So last meeting we went through all this. I just wanted you guys to be comfortable with adding contacts, saving searches for them, and saving searches for yourself, right? Once we're good with that, then we want to make sure we go to our CMA. So let's see how good or bad it is. Let's do it together. Okay. So I want to create comps for one of my clients. So how do we going to do that? So I go to my matrix, my CMAs. So I'm going to start a new one, start a new CMA. So which client is this for? I want to do it for Kobe. I can put any description if I want. And then I'm going to hit next where it says on the top section here, we want to click on pages. So what pages do you want? This is what is available and this is what you have selected. Okay. Right. Just for the sake of this example here, I'm selecting everything. You can, pick and choose which one you prefer. Once I'm done with that, I'm clicking on the next one, and this is your subject. Okay. You can type in the property, which one you're comparing it for. So we don't have any property here. Let me look for one property to compare it with. Oh, all right, let's go back. Pages, subject. Okay. So this property came up, right? I just had an NMLS number there. So if I put the MLS number there, automatically it will fill out all the information that's available. This looks like it's commercial, but I actually want to choose a residential property. So let's do a residential. Give me a minute. Let's look for another one. So let's look for active in Nassau County. That is 600,000 plus and has 4 bedrooms. Okay. And I hit results. So let's do this one here in Valley Stream. So I want to get the MLS number here. I copied it. So let's do comps for this property. So I put in the MLS number, fill, and you can see all the property information is filled. This is your subject property, right? This is your subject property. We're creating comps for this property. Next, we have your cover here. It has the image for the property. It has your information here. If you need to edit, you can click on edit here, and you can add your client's information if you want to add their address and phone number, but it's not needed. And now we have your comparables. We're going to find comparables. Again, we want to do the same thing. Hey, what's active right now? What is sold? If you want to just see what's sold now, right? This one is active. We'll do the same thing. Let's say what is between 600 to 700, and let's do 4 bedrooms plus, and let's do in Nassau. And now here's another one here. We are looking in Valley Stream. Let's just do compare apples to apple, right? If my subject property is in Valley Stream, why not do the comps just within Valley Stream instead of doing the radius, right? So if I try to put in Valley Stream in town, it will not come up. I would need to click on post office or town, and type in Valley Stream there, right? So there's 23 properties that were sold in the last 180 days and that are in with the same similar specs of six to $700,000 and 4+ bedrooms. Okay, hey, results. So these are the properties. So let's say I want to compare this 639, this one here. This part here, you need to spend at least 20 to 30 minutes comparing apples to apples, right? Just because we're going to be short on time, we're going to select the property that we want to use and click on add selected. Okay, so these are your comps. This is the map. This is your adjustment. If you want to make any adjustments, your pricing, and finish. Okay, once you're done with this, you want to click on view CMA. Let's give it a minute. Okay, and it looks something like this. It created 24 pages for you guys, right? So what does it include? It has a nice cover. It has your price adjustments. It's comparing this property to the next two here. then the following two, and tells you the price ranges, how many square feet, how much per square foot. Okay. So anytime you're creating comps, if you do it through this, it's going to be perfectly fine because you're getting all the data right from MLS. Okay. It looks really professional. If you provide it to your client, that's what your client is interested in. Hey, I'm buying a property in South Hosen Park. I'm buying in Valley Stream. If I'm buying this property with 4 bedrooms, with this much square feet, I want to compare that to similar properties. RPR does this for you. So you should have more than one resource, not just one, right? You have your RPR, you have this through MLS matrix now, and then you have us as the mortgage side, right? Carvin, you have been sending us a lot of properties, and I feel like you should keep doing it. Sometimes you're sending multiple in a day. That means that you're working for your client. Hey, you need to know the comps. You're simply sending us the address, and we're doing this for you as well, right? So if you have three different numbers, you can even do an average of those three. Hey, RPR is telling me 500,000. This one, MLS Matrix, is telling me 525. And then maybe the mortgage side is telling me 490, right? You add three of them up, divided by three, and that should be a really solid offer price. You can't go wrong with that, right? So let's use multiple sources to put in a solid offer. This would be your high, this would be your lowest, this would be your highest, this would be your average price between those properties that we have seen. And average days on the market, 12, just 12 days. Those properties that we're comparing right now, they were sold on average of just 12 days in Valley Stream. Okay. Okay. I'm just skimming through this for you guys. So after this meeting, I think every one of us should be doing a CMA for any property, even property that you're thinking about putting in an offer for, or property that you have sold recently, and you just want to see what the value the system shows. So please do a comparison CMA for yourself. So Carvin, this was your idea here. Any questions, concerns, sir? Thank you, Carvin. Yeah, Mr. Hassan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's a oh, perfect, perfect. That's a great question. Okay. So CMA, no questions, right? CMA, we're good? Okay, CMA is good. Good. Okay, good. So I'm going to my matrix. I'm going to my contacts, and let's say I want to pause for Jasmeet here, right? So I click on where it says auto email number one. I click on that, and it takes me to yeah, it takes me directly to the auto email. Once I click on that one, it gives me all the options. I click on settings, and I can where it says enabled, I can disable it. Okay. All I gotta do is just click on this toggle button here and it will disable it. If I hit save and now it's turned red here, that means it is not active. So one more time. Okay, so let's do this here. My matrix, my contacts, you will see the number where it says auto email, right? You click on that and it will take you directly to that alert that you set up. When you click on that, and you got to click on settings, and where it says enable, you can disable it just by clicking on that button there and hit save. Okay. Yeah. So if I want to, I turned off two of them, but I don't want to, right? So I need to turn them back on. So I'm going to my matrix. My contacts. I want to turn it on for this investor here. I click on his name. Oh, where did it go? Sorry, not my listings. My contacts, buyer, auto email. These were sent. Hmm, where did it go? Okay, my auto emails. There you go. Okay, if you have disabled it, you have to go to my auto email. Okay, so because they turned red, that means they're disabled by agent, or it could be disabled if they unsubscribe to those alerts. It will also disable by buyer. So right now I want to turn them on, right? So I click on it again, settings, and I hit enable. Okay, and I'm sorry. So one is that you will be notified. Second is that under contacts where it says auto email, it will say nothing there. So look at what happens with Just Meet here. Just Meet has zero, nothing here, right? So I want to turn, so because it was turned off, so I want to turn them back on. So my auto emails for Just Meet was this one here. It tells you the client's name, settings. I'm enabling it and hit save. And now if I go back to the contacts, now you see with Jasmeet, I see number one there. Any active auto emails alerts that you have set up, you will see the number there. Okay. So again, every one of us, the only reason, just like how I was confused for a second here, right? So if we disable them, then we do not see that number here, obviously. So if you still want to see all the disabled auto searches that you have, you go to my auto emails. You will see which ones are active and which one are inactive. Okay. Also, guys, on here, I want to show you guys another feature. So let's say I'm doing a search for any property, right? Any new property that came on the market. Let's look at Nassau here and just show you guys. Let's just go with this one here. There's a price increase for this property, right? We usually don't see that. He went from 598 to 648, right? Usually we don't see that. But anyhow, these little icons here, they're pretty useful too, guys. If you want to look at your realist reports, right, you want to see the public records, obviously you can click on this tax icon and you can see the information here as well, right? What are the total taxes for 23, 22, and 21? But if you're going to listings and click on RL, it will open up a new tab and it will give you full report for that property, right? So this is also part of your one key right now. So you can get all the properties. You can even do comps within this app as well, right? If you want to. But I think doing it with Matrix that what we just showed you is pretty good. But it will give you all the property details that you would need. Okay. So all these icons that you see there, play around with it. Get used to this because this format that we see here, right, is going to be there for a long, long time, guys. Right? And when you're looking at it as a list, right? Anytime you're looking at any property, so let's say I go back to this list here, or anytime you do a search, these tabs that you see right now is displaying under agent single line. But I have set it up as Lucky's hot sheet here. You can do so as well. Just make any changes, right? You want to add a field, you just click on it, insert column, add anything you want, remove anything you want, and then you can set it using this gear icon and set it as default. Okay, you can name it as well. So this way you can see all the information that you want. For me, I recently added the lot size. I didn't want to see the lot size when I click on the property. I just want to see the lot size right away, right? So how do I do that? I just click on this, add insert column, and look for lot size dimensions and apply. Okay. These little things will save you some time. These little things will make you more comfortable using the system. You want to be able to send them any new properties that's available right away. That is what this is how we're going to be bringing value to them. Okay. These calculators that these guys have put in, I think they're really, really good. We already had a one sheet for the seller. Hey, this is going to be your takeaway amount. This is very similar to what we've been using, manually as well. So if you click on it, you can put in your buyer's information. You can put in um, the purchase price and all that, and see a full breakdown, and that will create a report for you as well. Okay, buyer's closing cost, seller's estimated net proceeds. This is your takeaway amount that we have the separate sheet for. And if you want other calculators, you click on it and go through them. All of them, should be to educate you and you can help out your clients more efficiently. Okay, these stats will help you stay up to date with the market. If you want to see any agents information, you can click on roster, not just our office, but anyone on MLS. Okay, you can see their license numbers, everything's public records, but Matrix makes it easy that, hey, as a real estate agent, what tools do you need to stay, up to date? So you have all the tools, market reports, links, everything that you need right built into Matrix. Okay, all right, guys. Questions, concerns on this? Okay, so just remember, one key is just your dashboard. This is the same login that you're going to need for everything else. So make sure you are able to log into one key. I don't think any of our agents that's attending right now, or we have sent one-on-one messages, anyone have that issue. But if you're watching this recorded, guys, and you are not able to log into one key or matrix or one home, please let us know so we can assist. And remember, the name is Matrix. We need to forget Stratus and needs to start remembering that Matrix has all my clients and it has all the listings. Okay. One home is for my client. This is what my client is viewing when every time we're sending them messages. Okay. Your job is to learn the new system, show properties, and go under contract. And that should be the norm for next year. That, hey, I need to make sure that I understand my systems so I can actually help out my client. The website or the matrix looks pretty basic, but the systems on the back end, right, the functionality that it has is pretty powerful, right? So we want to utilize that, and we want to make sure that we are actually showing. We're showing and showing and showing until we go under contract. Okay. So you really need to reflect on the following that, hey, sometimes we need to stop doing the things that we're doing, right? Maybe those are the activity. I don't know what they are for you guys, right? We need to look at and actually audit ourselves, audit our, schedule. Hey, this is what I'm doing throughout the day. This is what I'm doing throughout the week. This is what I'm doing throughout the whole month, right? I need to make these small changes so I can achieve my goals. So if you're a real estate agent, right, you need to know that there's going to be two different type of pains that are available, right? It's hard to say, but it's actually pain of discipline and hard work or pain of regret. Hey, 2024 year passed and I haven't done much or I haven't done enough what I really expected to do, right? That's the pain of regret. Or you have pain of discipline and hard work that I'm actually going to follow up with my clients, know my systems. I'm going to make sure I'm showing enough properties that I'm going under contract, right? So you choose which pill you want. Okay. So write down the things that you really want to achieve next year and see how you're going to actually take care of that, right? How you're going to actually achieve it. Some people, like myself too, hey, I'm just interested in these goals, but am I really committed to those goals, right? That what makes a difference. We really need to find out that, hey, we need to be committed, laser focused on our priorities. And as we mentioned, if I'm not showing, I'm not closing, right? And you need to say, hey, these are the actions I'm taking, and these actions are either supporting my goals or is it distracting my goals, right? We have to choose that. And the brain, we all get tired of new stuff. We don't want to adapt to new stuff that we're going through right now. Maybe you want to use your phone calendar, right? Your phone's a reminder or just a sheet of paper, right? Doesn't matter what it is. You need to start writing down the things that you really want to get done in a day so you can actually do so. Okay? And accountability, guys. You need to ask, you guys are independent contractors, right? Meaning that you guys need to be held accountable for your own actions. But if you need anybody else, I can be that person. If you want to follow up with me, hey, on monthly basis, bi-weekly, weekly basis, whatever you want. If you want to achieve goals, you can do it. You just need to be focused on those. Okay. Next, guys, we only have 5 minutes left. Is co-marketing. We're gonna have our loan officers next year start advertising on Zillow, and you guys can do it as a real estate agent, and you guys can do a co-marketing together, which is gonna be legal because the buyers, the real estate agents and the loan officer can split up their splits up to 50%, right? It's not one person paying 100%, so it's 50-50 or anything below that, right? So we want to make sure that everybody's on board early next year. We do not want anybody to get started this month because this is one of the slowest months and we don't want you to spend a dollar. But next year, we want to go through co-marketing between our loan officers and our real estate agents. Okay. And remember, guys, we have plenty of loan options for a person who is trying to purchase a house for the first time or investor. We have loan programs where your credit scores are super low or you have no income. We have loan programs for that, right? You just need to have your client come to our office and speak with one of our loan officer and get pre-approved. And one last thing, guys, a reminder again, Christmas party is on December 21st on Saturday at 6:30. Please do attend and we'll have a good time here, guys. That'll do it from my end, guys. Any questions, concerns before we get going?